What you need to know about proportions is that two quantities are proportional if they have a constant ratio, if they're equal to each other. Like if you can reduce them and they have the same ratio, then they're what we call proportional. What your homework's going to do is going to show you a table with some numbers on it, and you're going to see if it's a proportional relationship. So write this table down. So to figure out if the relationship is proportional or not, to see if coffee's relationship is proportional to the cost, what I do is, as I look at here, okay, 1/3, I'm going to see if the rest of these ratios reduce down to that. I'm going to see if they're all equal to 1/3. So I'm going to see if 2/6 is equal to that. Well, if I reduce both these by 2, I get 1/3. So are they equal? Yes. Now, just because one of them is doesn't mean the rest of them are. So you have to do the rest. Let's see if 1/3 is equal to 3/9. Divide both of these by 3. This pen's not working today. You get 1/3. So that one's right. And if you do 4/12, you're going to get the same thing. Divide both those by 4. So this is a proportional relationship. And so you need to write a complete sentence that just says the cost is proportional, which I'm going to abbreviate that, to the number of pounds. So I need to figure out, is the distance proportional to time? Meaning for every hour I go 50 miles. Because I can't reduce this one. I can't reduce this fraction at all, this ratio. So this is my base. This is what I compare everything else to. So let's see if 270 is proportional to 1/50. If I reduce both of these by 2, I get 1/35. Is that equal to 1/50? No. So this would be automatically no. You wouldn't have to do any more. I'm going to show you the other two, but just because you might have 2 or 3 that are constant, and then you have one that's not, and if one that's not, then the whole thing's not proportional. So let's see if 390 is proportional. Divide both those by 3, and I get 1/30. Is that equal to 1/50? No. And if I was to do 4/110, I would get 1/20. It's like 27, 28, something like that. Is that equal to 1/50? No. So I would write no. The distance is not proportional to time, which yours needs to be a little bit more readable than mine. All right, now we're going to be solving proportions. So you have to assume these are proportional. The rates are constant. Right? It's not like the problems we were just doing where you had to figure out if it's proportional. Now they are, right? But there'll be a number missing. Let's say like A is missing. What you got to do is you got to solve for it. Well, we have a rule that helps us to solve, and what that means is this: if we cross multiply, then we can solve for one of the missing numbers or the missing variable, because A, if it's proportional, if A over B is proportional or equal to C over D, then what you can do is you can times A with D and C with B, and they are equal to each other. So I can cross multiply and do AD is equal to BC, and that's how I solve proportions, is just by cross multiplying. So let's do this problem. So we have B over 15 is equal to 66/90. I need to figure out what B is. So what I do is I cross multiply. I take 90 times B, and I take 66 times 15, which gives you 990. And I know how to solve problems like this. I look at what's being done to B, I'm timesing by 90, so I divide by 90. I can take 10 out of both of those, and then I divide that, and I get B is equal to 11. What we do is we cross multiply. We try to solve for C. So I take 14 times C, and I take 7 times 12, that's 84. Divide by 14. C is equal to what?
6.
6. You get problems like this, you set up proportions. It says 20 minutes for 106 people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do minutes over people. And I'm going to keep it that way. And I even write out the units just to remember for each ratio it needs to be minutes over people. So I need to do 20 minutes over 160. Right? And they're saying that this rate is, they think this rate is going to be constant. It's going to be about this rate for everybody. So you can figure out what the rate's going to be for 220 people. So we set up just like this. We cross multiply anytime you have proportions like this, you cross multiply. So I have 160x is equal to 20 times 220, which gives you 4,400. Divide by 160, which I would take 10 out of those, and I take 440 divided by 16. When I do that, I get 27.5 minutes. So that would be x. X is equal to 27.5 minutes. Now, for me, I wouldn't just plug that number in and see if it works. There's other ways of checking it. What I would do is I kind of think, is it close? All right. So first thing I do is the number I got less than the number they gave me? Would it, like, if I got 10 minutes, would that be right? If it takes 20 minutes for 106 people and it gets 10 minutes for 220, would that make sense? No. So I need a number that's going to be at least bigger than 20. But what if I got like 100 or 200? Would that be right? No. So it needs to be kind of close to 20. It needs to be bigger, which this is. So I'm going to assume it's right. Here's your homework assignment.